Who would have thought? Hey, Carol, how are you today? What do you think, guys? I bet you guys did not expect that one, did y'all? Uh, Probably we should have. It should have been something we all thought about. Um, Sometimes powerful people, they, hey, D9, D9, D9 with the bar face. Yes, yes, that is correct. Monique, how are you? Um, you get into these situations. Good afternoon, by the way, or good morning, depending on where you are. Every now and then I have friends from like the UK sneak in on me, and it's like 4 in the morning over there or whatever. Um, Actually, they're probably all drunk right now, the ones I know. But uh, yeah, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? For those of you who are not familiar with Governor Cuomo's legacy, his dad, Mario Cuomo, was the governor of New York State for 3 terms. And Andrew, who's I think in the middle of his 3rd term, was a contender for president in 2024. Some were thinking that they might. Thank you, Carol. Doing good, doing good. Uh, some people have speculated that he would run as Biden's replacement because I think the left or the Democrats in general, but they realize that Kamala is not exactly very popular, and unlike people like Tulsi or Susan Rice or some of the other women in the Democratic Party, she doesn't have. Hey, Northern girl, how are you? You're always working, hun. The only trees I have out here to cut are like ugly mesquite trees, and they're not. Well, they smell good, but they're not the best firewood. Um, no one would have thought that he would. He was a contender. Kamala is not a Tulsi. She's not a Susan Rice. She's not an experienced state person with friends in the Pentagon and ambassadorial expertise. So he was a contender. Now the question is, did someone want to take him out of contention, or did he just screw up by himself? Guys, I don't know. I know our friend Jason, the angry prepper up in New York City, is quite happy with this. I'm confident he is. Um, yeah, you can't do certain things and not expect it's going to come back to bite you. And so there you go. There you had it, folks. That was Governor Andrew Cuomo's resignation, effective, well, taking effect today, 14-day notice. To be fair, he made a good point. He would be a distraction to other business the state needs to take care of. The longer he stayed there, the worse of a lightning rod he was going to be. Right now, I believe there are 11 women who have claimed harassment. And apparently, the attorney general yesterday put out a statement that they have grounds to go to a grand jury to try an indictment. So, whatever he did was serious. It wasn't some inconspicuous, well, it wasn't meant like that kind of thing. He's going to be up there with Anthony Weiner. That name. Oh, God. It's been a day at work, and I'm just in a really rare mood, and watching that just cracks me up. Yeah, bye-bye, Andrew. So hasta luego to Andrew. That's the end of that. So the lieutenant governor, her name is Karen Dutchman or something like that, from Buffalo, also a Democrat. The background for her was, I believe she's a businesswoman up there. So someone who understands numbers and business is probably a better choice than a career politician who is the son of a career politician. So we'll see where New York goes. New York City's got a lot on its plate right now. Most populous city, Rona surges, all that good stuff. And, Mr. I have a big mouth apparently couldn't keep his hands to himself. Hey, Joe, how are you, man? So, yeah, that's the end of that. Not something we were all expecting. Although I had hints of it with his the recent news reports that he was not. A lot of women came forward. I believe one of them was actually on the news finally. It was either the first or second to raise questions about his conduct, and they put her on the news, and she was very pointed, and she said, he did this, he did that, and what he did was not appropriate, but we were all scared for our careers and our jobs, and could influence my husband's job. So when you get that much power, I guess they start thinking they could get away with stuff. So, well, hasta luego, Mr. Cuomo, and we'll see where New York State goes from here. Just replaced by someone just as bad or worse, like with Sedan. Yeah, who knows? Come ho, that's awful. That's good actually too. Joe could come up with some zingers. So watch him on the chats because he gets these great one-liners going. Thank you, man. I really needed that after today. Speaking of one-liners, we're going to go. We've been talking a lot about problems in the supply chain. Are people turning off their phones tomorrow for the FEMA announcement? That's a good question. You know what? I hadn't looked at that one, but let's see. That's you're referring to the national alert system, and it should go in the 11th. Let's see what the news says. That's worthless. It just says FCC announces nationwide emergency alert testing. No, I won't. I want to see what my dogs do. Although I would be tickled pink if somebody who was about to quit the FEMA decided to do a ballistic missile warning instead. Although then people in Hawaii stuck their children in manholes, which why do you think that would help? But let's see what the let's see. I got a great article right here. Let's see what it says. Some are even disconnecting their Wi-Fi. I didn't know that would affect Wi-Fi, but I guess that would make sense. Let's see. So the EAS portion of the test will use the over-the-air daisy chain distribution method, meaning that it will be initiated by primary entry point broadcast stations, retransmitted by stations that monitor the primaries, and again retransmitted that monitor the secondary. All EAS participants are required to participate in the national EAS test. Including broadcasters, they must file 3 forms. Wow, that's very uninteresting. And this is Lerman Center. It's the communication laws website. So yeah, this may be very symbolic. Trump did it, and really all it was this is a national alert, and the alert is now over, and that was that. I am curious if you guys are going to be on the road, listen on the radio, and when it hits, start switching channels and see if all the channels actually do it or if someone screws up. And welcome RCX, by the way. Sorry, you kind of zoomed past me after you asked your question. That's interesting stuff. Now, typically, this kind of goes back to the old Cold War alert systems. Back in the day, Bert the Turtle or whatever his name was, that he'd duck and cover when the atomic bombs hit. This may be largely a big pile of BS. Let's see let's see if there's another space policy online. It was Lady Gaga on DirecTV. All right, here's another one, and this particular article seems a little bit snarky, but let's see what they say. So National Emergency Alert Test scheduled for August 11th, and they put beep. This is the emergency alert system. This will be the second nationwide WEA test. The first one was on a consumer opt-in basis. The message will display in either English or Spanish, depending on the language setting of the phone. Now, that's interesting. So it can detect, yeah, this is a layover from the duck and cover era. I didn't know it would detect the language of your phone. Then again, the phone is a perfect Big Brother device anyway, but that's a whole nother topic for another live stream, I'm sure. There's no need to take any action upon receiving the test message. Do not panic or ask 911 any question. Yeah, so guys, I honestly think it's probably going to be just one of those symbolic civil defense type situations where they're just going to, buzz your phone and the radio. Don't do the following. Let me see if I can, Hawaii. Let me see if I can find the video of the Hawaii emergency alert mistake. Let's see if I can find it. The man responsible for the missile alert now fired from his job. That's bad stuff. Let's see. Hold on a second here. I'm trying to find that. Here we go. So this one's our favorite. Yeah. Hey, Stuart. Yeah, don't get in trouble at work though. Please. It works hard enough to come by, and I'm going to cover a subject. So let's see what went wrong with Hawaii's emergency. Let's see what these fools are doing. Let me know if you can hear the video after the stupid commercial goes by. Why is it in Spanish? I speak Spanish, but I don't want to hear it. All right. Sorry, guys. We get to see JCPenney's stupid commercial. Here we go. So look at that across the top. U.S. Pacific Command has detected an... Y'all, that's bad. So they already had a button for this, guys. They already had a button. So Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing, guys. That was a major failure on their part. So I'm hoping nobody does that. Although, to be honest, there are a lot of people have no idea that that alert's going to come tomorrow. So how much you want to bet someone's going to do something stupid? I'll bet you $5 that somebody is going to do something ignorant because they're not reading the news and they're a sheep and they're not paying attention to what's going on. And they're going to do this national alert and people are going to crash their car. I see that happening. For those of you who are just coming in, we played Andrew Cuomo's very sad resignation. There were several cheers in the chat section because when you molest your female coworkers, that's not cool, and you need to resign. So, ta-da! Next topic, and you guys will laugh at this one. So I went to Whataburger. For those of you not from Texas or from the South, that's kind of like the competitor to In-N-Out. It's the South. It's the Texas version of it, and a great joint. And they did not have foam cups. They had these weird, wonky. Silas, you help me launch. Yeah, there you go. See that we can do that. Joe's thinking we'll find the silo. We don't even have to launch it at anything. Just like launch it into the ocean and watch everyone freak. And then the NSA, somebody's going to knock on one of our doors one day for that one and be like, "Dude, knock it off. Don't say that stuff on YouTube." They're probably rolling their eyes at half of what we say anyway. But anyway, they didn't have foam cups, and I went to a truck stop and they didn't have foam cups either. Their brand of, Kent Quick or Stripes or whatever. And then it turned out that there's a shortage of styrofoam cups. So then I'm like, well, that's interesting. So what else is there in shortage of? So let's do this one. McDonald's dealing with bag shortage. DQ just went through that no cup thing. See, so guys, these are things like that are kind of the canary in the cave when it comes to supply chain, right? Because governments and businesses are going to be pushing for the diesel. They're going to be pushing for also Medellin. See, and this is what happens. We say snarky things. You see Joe's comment. We say snarky things on the interwebs, and then the feds are like, "No, don't do that. You're an ass." And then they follow you, or they send you a letter saying, "Cut it out," or you get put in the Starbucks, no frappuccino. Well, yeah, they're running out. So essentially, McDonald's ran out of bags for like Happy Meals and stuff, or the little tote for the Happy Meal. They don't have bags. So I'm like, well, how exactly are you? They're putting them in like these little, almost like the shopping bags like you get at the grocery store in the corner. And about 81% of restaurant business was takeout or delivery over the past 12 months. In a statement, oh, doggone it. Sorry about that, guys. A statement obtained by Fox Business, a spokesman for McDonald's said, despite temporary pressures in the industry, the impact to the restaurants is minimal. We are confident customers should not see a disruption to supply of bags or straws. I've been noticing a lot of this lately, and these are the kind of things that. Oh, really? See, and that, yeah, when you're friends with stupid people, that's what happens. I don't know if you all saw Joe's comment. I'm in mourning for Taco Bell's chicken tacos. Actually, that's on the next tab. Yeah. So this one was from June 30th, so it's a few weeks ago. Hey, Caribbean House, how are you? I'm glad you made it today. So let's look at this one here. So this is another foodie page. You guys notice I like foodie pages. If you missed my kitchen live from last week or week before, we almost had another one today, but I had too many good topics and I didn't thaw the ground beef, so it kind of would have not been fun. But anyway, these popular fast food chains are struggling with unexpected shortages. And as Lucky Dame points out, chicken wings, chicken tenders, boba tea, dipping sauces, oat milk. What the hell is oat milk? Is it like oatmeal juice or something? That's, if someone knows what the hell that's made out of, let me know. Yeah, and you have stupid friends, and they have to make sure you're not a security risk. Joe, Joe has a whole story about stupid friends in the FBI. Yeah, it's tough when you have ignorant friends and somehow you get in trouble even though you weren't there. So Chipotle, they're the company denied any overarching supply issues in its network, but the prices are going up because they're having to pay more. They were out of barbacoa and carnitas in New Jersey. We never ran out of barbacoa in Texas. I guess that's a good thing. Subway was out of roast beef, rotisserie chicken, ketchup, and spicy mustard. So this this sounds funny, right? But you think about it. Before you see a big supply chain disruption, you often see little ripples. Now, we already saw supply chain disrupted earlier in the year, and actually, Lucky Dame was touching on a shutdown. Lucky, remind me what it was. It was Shanghai. That the Don't know what's in it, but my daughter uses it because she's vegan. Oh, oat milk. Okay, it must be some kind of like they boil the oats and you get like oat juice, and that becomes oat milk. But these smaller disruptions. Oh, who mentioned Starbucks? I think it was it D9 or somebody mentioned no, it was D9. No, Starbucks. A leaked internal memo revealed the chain is experiencing major shortages. 25 menu items are unreliable now, including cinnamon dolce, spinach feta, egg white wraps. So when you have a supply chain disruption, it's almost like a bullwhip, right? You whip, or if you have a string and you do a whipping action, it takes a while for it to go from A to B to make its way all the way across the chain. I prefer raw cow. These are good problems. These are good problems. And I guess maybe we shouldn't eat as much junk food, but these are the canary in the cave type problems, because it's usually little things, right? Because they'll give priority to beef, diesel, iron, the more massive infrastructure stuff. But when you start seeing these kinds of disruptions and you see a lot of issues, hi Proverbs, how are you? And oh, okay, oat milk is yummy. I'm going to try it one day just to see what it tastes like. Again, I like food. And by the way, think about that. That's a great alternative. If you have a milk shortage, you should at least get familiar with some of the alternative almond, oat, soy. You may not like them as much, but just something to think about. Hey, Harvey. These smaller disruptions often are hints that something bigger may be coming. So you may be seeing a ripple effect on the front end of something else being shorted. I took a video, and I haven't made anything of it yet, of the local auto dealerships. And this is one of those large Texas dealerships where they bought like an acre and stuck a bunch of cars out there. And they had 2 new vehicles on that lot. Everything else, Pope Francis received a threatening letter. That's not good. This is just crazy people. But they're still running behind because of the chip shortage. The chip shortage has not been alleviated. They're thinking it's going to be 2022. I spoke to the manager of the meat department at the HEB out by me, and same thing. He said, we're seeing weird meat disruptions. He said, so local beef, Louisiana, Texas, the stuff they source in the Gulf of Mexico, minor disruptions, not bad. Stuff they get from other parts of the country or from overseas, from Mexico, from Canada, stuff coming in and out. He said the other day, all of a sudden the chicken wings disappeared. They still have a sign on HEB, 1 box of chicken wings. So instead of a pallet, they got a box with 3 little boxes in it. That was it. No chicken wings. He said 2 weeks before that was the brisket, which comes from a plant in California or in Nevada, somewhere out there, thump, gone. So we're still seeing that uneven behavior in the supply chain. So again, pay attention when you go to the stores, look at what's out there. It's just to screw us. Bags aren't anything for us to be worried. It's just to rattle the normies. Yeah. And again, it's just these little things may lead to other things. So when you go to the stores, pay attention to what is normally there that suddenly disappears, because that's going to tip you off. And again, if you use chicken a lot, if you use ground beef a lot, don't wait till it's disappearing to go get it, because that's when everyone else will freak out. Buy it bit by bit as you go. So the ground beef, that tube, I guess they call it a chub. I didn't know what it was called. It was just the meat tube. The turkey was $3.50 and the beef was $5-ish for a pound of 93% fat-free beef. Chicken was $1.87 a pound for the chicken breast. They're going to start giving the vaccine to cows. And by the way, white-tailed deers can catch the COVID, apparently, according to a hunter buddy of mine up in Pennsylvania. So if you eat your deer, you may get the Rona. I don't know. It's been a very weird year, and I don't think people realize. Can't find dry black beans or garlic with the odor. Oh, so you're not seeing like dry goods Proverbs, Mama. That's interesting. Brisket $6.50 a pound here. Oh, is that East Texas? I guess, based on what I'm guessing. I need to look at brisket. I'm not sure. Yeah, the chicken nuggets are really good. So we're gonna keep seeing stuff like this. Okay, yeah. It surprises me because Dallas is a hub, so pretty much anything Tyler north to the Oklahoma border and then kind of out toward Abilene kind of gets supplied out of Dallas, which gets supplied from, New Orleans and from Houston. So, but yeah, the prices are going up. Now, I would suggest something to alleviate supply chains that I'm doing with my brother and a few other people that I'm close to. Is someone will put out an alert on a text and say, hey, I'm looking, for instance, Proverbs Mama mentions garlic supplements. They'll say, hey, I'm looking for garlic supplements. They're $15, $20 here. Yeah, the Rona deer. Can you find them cheaper? So all 10 of us on the chat will, this text chain will start looking, and whoever finds it the cheapest will report back and say, hey, I found it, I don't know, West Texas. I found it in, Baton Rouge, whatever. It's $4. And they'll confirm that person will buy the product, 3 or 4 bottles or whatever it is. They'll ship it and then take a picture of the receipts to the other person. And then person 1 Venmos the shipper. And so that's a little, again, we're relying on the postal service, but that's a little way to get around some of these supply chain issues, especially for niche kind of stuff like vitamins and certain types of food. I did it with ammo, 9mm. FedEx took it, but you have to there's a little black triangle, like a black and white triangle to indicate munitions, has to be on the box. You can find it online. You print it, put it on both sides. And then I sent 4 50-round boxes of 9 to my daughter, and it cost me $15 to ship. So her boxes there were $70 a box in Houston at the time, and I was finding them out in the country for $19. So again, I saved her a lot of money. Just took me a couple hours to get everything put together, put it in a box, and ship it. So work with networks, and they don't necessarily, a MAG or mutual assistance group doesn't have to be physically near each other. Ideally, yes, but having an extended group of people, you can text in different parts of the country and say, hey, can you find this? Yeah, Joe, that's exactly it. My brother and I in particular are notorious for texting back and forth. He was looking for a firing pin. What the hell was he looking for the other day? And radioactive prepper Jim. Chris, I had not heard about that. If anyone has news on that, please chime in there. I had only interacted with him a couple of times. I'm sorry to hear that. When did that happen? So next, I can butcher my cow if it gets bad. True. And if you have chickens, again, you have the eggs, so you can use the eggs, save the chicken kind of thing. Oh yeah, Joe. If I'm looking for something, I'm actually looking for 380. I cannot find it for my wife's SIG to save my butt. So, if you do find any, let me know. Um, Speaking of, yeah, how did Jim die? If anyone can comment on that, I did not hear about that. Okay, radioactive prepper. Nope, no, I'm not seeing anything official. It probably wouldn't be on. I'll link you on Discord. Okay, that'll be great. Trying to find his family. He passed 5 days ago. Wow. All right, folks. So again, an example of extended mutual assistance. If anyone can pass information on what may have happened or how to reach radioactive prepper's family. Uh, I only recently started following him, so by all means, share if you can. Um, Another topic to cover here, and I wanted to bring this one up because I'm not sure what to make of this. So China and Russia have been doing a lot of joint military drills with one another. Okay, so Chris, let us know if we should send information to Bigfoot Prepper, and we can definitely do that. China and Russia are doing joint drills on Chinese facilities. My understanding is this is the first time Russian military has actively gone into China to train with the Chinese. And they're trying to learn from each other to deal with the U.S. So again, whether they're going to test us or they see us as a threat, I don't know. But something to watch. 10,000 troops. It's a 5-day drill. This is not a small drill. The logistics, any of you who served, the logistics of getting, even if it's 5,000 apiece, 5,000 troops and their trucks, tanks, everything into another country in a coherent way. That's no minor undertaking, which means this was probably planned a while ago. They were probably thinking, and they said it would be a focus on counterterrorism and security. So that begs the next question: with the U.S. leaving Afghanistan and the Taliban taking property again, they're pushing real hard, not just in Afghanistan, but now I'm hearing they've entered. I think it's Tajikistan. They've moved into the very outskirts of China where they have a Muslim minority. They're moving out. And we all know the Taliban typically is very well trained and very well organized. They know when to disappear and they know when to pop up again. So this makes me wonder if there's a fear that our departure from Afghanistan, aside from leaving a vacuum in Afghanistan, may empower the Taliban to start lashing out at Russia and China. Remember, the Taliban originally were the Mujahideen. Their old leaders were the Mujahideen that fought against the Russians. So there's no love lost between the Taliban and the Mujahideen and Russia. This goes back to the 80s. So this is an interesting development. I don't know why I have. China and Russia have no choice but to strengthen ties, according to them. And here we go. Oops. Russia. Oh, doggone it. China is expected to once again join Russia, this time alongside India, Pakistan, and the Central Asian states of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, in a anti-terror exercise. Those countries are all around Afghanistan. Hey, good night, Carol. God bless. Take care of yourself. So, interesting development. So I did a little searching about this article, and this is a think tank, the Cato Institute, if you haven't heard of it. And this author, he said basically Afghanistan is going to be a mess, and we need to leave it alone. He said after 2 decades, according to him, the actual Afghan civil war has been going on for 40 years in one form or another. And we've been in that country 18 to 20 of those years. So, again, expanded the mission to nation building, and it was a bust. We've spent billions of dollars. A lot of our finest American troops went there, were either killed or injured. We left an infrastructure. We left a military structure in place. It's not sustaining. I know President Biden is authorizing airstrikes in the country, but the Taliban is moving fast, and they're being very effective. This may also be part of the impetus for Russia and China, because if you look at the world map, these guys are smack between the two, and that's going to cause them a lot of problems. So I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm curious to see if China will go into Afghanistan, maybe repeat the mistakes the Americans, Russian, British, French colonials back to the 1800s all did. So yeah, we're watching that dissolve as our troops come out. So maybe this is a good thing that our guys are no longer there. But in any case, yes, Afghanistan. What is piled? Northern Girl deserves a beer after all the woodwork there. And that's no easy task. It's that country has become a mess. We've left a lot of equipment there. Unfortunately, now I think the Taliban has a bunch of MRAPs. I don't know what exactly was or wasn't left, but that's going to be interesting to watch over the coming months. If anything, maybe it'll keep China and Russia busy so they quit hacking our shit here. Awesome, Joe. Yeah, I'll reach out to you. Okay, thanks, bud. I will check on Discord. So this is one, and this one's kind of close to me because I have family members who are first responders. As you know, Chicago, Minneapolis, a lot of the cities that push the defund the police movement have become a debacle. They've become an absolute mess. If you don't believe me, listen to Angry Prepper in New York City, and you can hear his frustration, people getting mugged, people getting beaten up. Austin, Dallas, lesser extent. Austin's a bit funky lately. I don't like visiting Austin, but this speaks volumes to the type of person leading Chicago right now. So for those of you who didn't read that article, a 29-year-old police officer with a 3-month-old child, she just came back from maternity leave. They made a traffic stop. A firefight ensued. She was killed. Partner was injured. One of the occupants in the vehicle who actually... How can that be? No kidding. That's the truth. Basically, she was killed and left the newborn child with her grieving husband behind. And the other officer is still in recovery. And lo and behold, the mayor went to visit the one police officer who survived, and this was the response of the police department. They literally all turned around. They would not talk to her. They would not face her when she approached them. They walked away. She threw them under the bus for political expediency, and it's costing their lives. Do we need to, make sure there's no police misconduct and that police are properly trained? Absolutely. If a police officer breaks the law, they should be held accountable. But minimizing the forces to the point where they no longer can provide security for the general public and their lives are forfeit is bad. That's just bad practice. I know when Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, we started seeing a lot of break-ins, which to be expected, break-ins, looting, because people had evacuated. And within the first 48 hours, the news started reporting almost one after the other. And a local homeowner shot a burglary suspect, and a local homeowner shot a home invasion suspect, and it just went on and on. They were the Houstonians were shooting people left and right because they're getting pissed off. There was one retired police officer whose wife owned a bakery in a shopping mall, so he went out in his old vest. It no longer had a badge, with a 12 gauge in the middle of the parking lot, stood on the back of his truck, and was protecting and monitoring traffic going in and out. And they were interviewing him, and all of a sudden he says, "Excuse me." He jumps off and goes running for the some kid was doing something stupid, and he grabs him by the hoodie and throws him into the bushes, and then comes back and continues talking. But a lot of these states don't have that option. They don't have the ability to defend themselves without them going to jail. So Mayor Lori Lightfoot was given a cold shoulder by CPD rank and file about midnight when she approached them on the 7th floor as they grapple with the shooting of two fellow officers. Lightfoot appeared shaken. She went downstairs to speak to reporters. This is sad. I don't have a picture of the young officer, but this is nonsense. This is ridiculous. Yeah, and you see, Proverbs Mama has a point. That's a central tenet. Sorry, the dog. I guess Mama's home, or the UPS truck is here, and he's pissing. So, one of the central precepts of Marxism, and I know I've harped on this before, was centralizing law enforcement, centralizing police, so you don't have local control, local police. And granted, on the one side, it prevents, some oversight does prevent corruption, but you have that opposite extreme where people, if you have a central police force like a federal police, you're going to have cops from God knows where in your neighborhoods. They don't care about the local folks. Local cops typically care about their local community. That's why they're there. You start importing police, it's like having an invading force. So that's a very dangerous slippery slope there. So in any case, unfortunately, and here's another article that I'll share with all of you. Our officers did not have a good year. The deadly consequences of defund the police, and surprisingly, this was on Yahoo. Long gun mount in my old car. I'm assuming you mean like a long gun mount, like the cops have it inside the cab, not like a turret. Although, if you do a turret, I would love a picture of that, because that would be freaking awesome. No bueno por nadie. No, they're not. They go to extremes. They're either really good or really not good. This article, many liberal activists are calling for reductions in police funding, although advocates of defunding have failed to win over the general public. The political climate, combined with budget constraints, has already succeeded in thinning their departments in many parts of the country. In Minneapolis last year, over 100 officers left the ranks of the city's police. In Seattle, their attrition is unprecedented. God, I can't talk today, guys. I'm sorry. Um, there's a large body of research that has looked at the relationship between police force size and crime, but most of it analyzed the effect of incremental changes in officer numbers. Large changes such as layoffs or in this case, resignations, has not been analyzed before. Therefore, we felt that the research on the effect of large sudden reductions was needed. I applaud them for actually trying to put numbers to it. Both cities contemplated large police layoffs in response. In Newark, labor management negotiations were not as successful, resulting in the layoff of 167 recently hired officers. The big irony, I believe it was in Portland or Seattle. Proverbs, Mom, I know. One of my teammates, they were down there on a search and rescue, and they were taking pot shots at the guard down on the border. Then they went and took pot shots at some Marines who were doing training, and they had live ammunition and fired back. And then they never fired at the Marine Corps Humvee again. Couldn't imagine why. But that's all word of mouth information. But I did meet some of those guys in a past period of my life. And they're like, yeah, they fired at us. And, we kind of turned the turret toward them and opened up on across the riverbank, and they stopped shooting. It's amazing how that works. Bad people get punished and they stop the bad shit. Amazing. It's like you ground your kids and they stop. Although no natural experiment is perfect, they're basically citing that they're looking at the impacts of a Jersey layoff a few years ago, which was done for economic reasons, and then this crash in department staffing. And they say one possible culprit for the increase in crime following the layoffs was the decision for the Newark Police Department to curtail the use of hotspots policing, which involved assigning officers to proactively police crime hotspots on their shift. So you put cops on the street where crime occurs and the criminals hide and they stop. And my dog's upset because it was UPS. UPS is his enemy, all 13 pounds of the Papillon. So anyway, I'm going to throw this one because this is a really interesting read. I didn't get a chance to read it all earlier, but I'll see if the comments play nice. There we go, chat. Bam. Okay. So I encourage you guys to read through that. Right. And D9 and the folks who live in Texas, opening California and Florida. Federal police field offices. Hey, Pilgrim, what's going on? That's new. We can certainly look into that while we're online here. And see what we find. Okay, now Mom's home. Sorry, guys. The good thing about having ranch dogs, even if they're little ones, as your pets, is nothing happens around the house without you knowing it's happening. So, yeah, I can't find a good article on it. It just says law enforcement training in Florida. That really is not. Proverbs Mama, if you have a good link, you want to email it to me, theroamingprepper@gmail.com, or you can post it in the comments under the video. Good night, D9. Oh, I thought D9 was going to bed. It's like, good night. It's good to see you. Because I can read, apparently. But in any case, by the way, the deeper bark is the corgi. They have a booming bark. So while we're defunding the police, sorry, guys. Hold on, yeah, they're just riled up. While we're talking about defunding the police, we're also allowing significant number of people through the border. Biden administration has actually ordered to increase deportations and prosecutions to deter migration. I was today, this morning. So apparently it has occurred to them that giving the message that we're not going to enforce the law brought people to the border, many of whom we didn't want, many of whom are desperate and need to be processed for potential acceptance, but their children, parents, they're saying it's unheard of levels. So you're seeing they're trying to increase prosecutions because there's recidivism among, get this, uh, basically military age men. They get brought in, they get kicked out, and they come back again, and they keep coming at different points in the border. And he says, we want to discourage irregular migration. Now, with the families, they're trying to be a little more lenient with the kids and the moms with kids, but still, they said the enforcement efforts marks a new, more stringent chapter in the Biden administration's border policy, which had previously focused on expanding asylum capacity. So, and this is from CBS News, guys. So if they ever denied that they're expanding capacity, yes, they are. But we will always be a nation of borders, and we will enforce our immigration laws in a way that is fair and just, said the White House spokesperson. But a spike in border apprehensions, overcrowding in the facilities, imagine that, and limited capacity plus the Rona has caused problems. Agents along the border with Mexico likely made 210,000 migrant apprehensions in July alone, not seen since the year 2000. About 80,000 parents and children traveling with as families, and 19,000 unaccompanied minors. By the way, they put a camp out in West Texas for the minors, who were all 14 to 17-year-old males. No females, no girls with them, no little kids. That's how many young males. These are teenagers, i.e. gang age, recruitable kids. And in some foreign countries, military age, young men. So, yeah, they had to do something. I'm surprised it took them this long. But I live 20 miles from where it's primarily grown men. Yes. Well, I lived down in the southern part of Texas for work for a few years. And but this was many years ago, and you could go across the border and go get tequila and dinner and whatever the hell, pastries, whatever nonsense you were getting across the border with a driver's license. And if you saw federales, it was kind of a yeah, that's right. You're seeing a lot of those military age males coming through. And okay, yeah, D9 knows exactly what I'm talking about, and it's a problem. And the problem is that the feds have indicated to local PD, if they get away from the facility, we don't have the manpower to chase them, so it's on you. So awesome. And again, my family is a family that immigrated here, but we came in the right way and served the country, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of people come in the right way. I have friends from Mexico City and Venezuela who were pissed at this because they're like, we came in the right way. You're letting the cartels in now. They came here to get away from some of the people we're now letting in. So it's kind of funny. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's tough. And I think it's bad because they're also trafficking a lot of young adults. And by the way, guys, and I've mentioned this before, they are also trafficking young females and males the other way to take them out of the country and export them to other parts of the world. We have seen, I was personally involved in helping a family with one young girl who disappeared from a Taco Bell at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday during school year in Houston. and they found her 10 days later. She had gone from the north side of Houston completely, almost to Victoria, Texas, which is, a couple hours away. They found her in a brothel, and she was not in good shape, but they did get her back, along with 15 other American women who were being slowly brought to the border for export. So please keep an eye on your kids. If your hairs, especially you moms and dads, your hairs go up on the back like a dog, sensing danger, listen to your gut. But yeah, they need to, yeah, for Epstein reasons. I'm sure I'll get a Rona flag or something for saying it, but it's true. So please watch your kids. Don't feel they're saying, "Oh, you're not being fair. You don't let me out. My stupid friends are out till 3 a.m, and you're mean." No, don't, please. Yeah, because they will traffic kids, and not just females, but that's the preferred target. They will traffic males. American born and raised kids are healthier, better fed, better wellness. It's a nicer product for these folks. So please watch your kids. I'll get off that soapbox, guys, but that to me, I've seen it firsthand how it hurts families, and that's not a good thing. And someone was trying to harass my 23-year-old daughter, and her pit bull that she was fostering, because she's a vet tech, decided to go into the window of the car and have a conversation with the people. And they were trying to drive, but you can't really drive with an angry pit bull in your face. So they almost crashed. The dog then jumped back out and went back to her. Best pit bull ever, by the way. Raised. Um, yeah. Just, yeah. And don't pull over. And Proverbs, Mama, a point of topic on that conversation is, yeah, seriously, that, and he wound up in a farm, a rancher needed a hog dog. The last picture I got of him, he had that little bulletproof vest they give the pitties when they go sending them to chase down hogs. He had a little bulletproof vest and like a little goggle thing, and he would run out with 4 pit bulls and a beagle, and the beagle would find the pigs, and then the pitties would run at him and take them down, and then they'd remove them from the property. But yeah, the the trafficking, they will traffic these kids. It's a better product for them, and they will track them out. So please, Proverbs, Mama, on that conversation, the point you said, if they're pulled over and they're not sure if it's a legit cop, I would recommend they drive to a gas station or 7-Eleven, wherever you are, something open 24 hours with people. Yeah. And they can pull over there. If it's a legit cop, he may be annoyed. Instruct your daughters to tell the officer, we couldn't tell, and especially if it's dark, we couldn't tell if you were really a cop, so we wanted to come here so we were safe. Another thing they can do is call 911 while they're going to the safe area and say, hey, there's a police officer following me. I'm driving, I don't know, a red Chevy. Is that really a cop? Because the dispatcher will have already been called, and the dispatch can then say, yes, that's a police officer. Go to us, tell them, she can say, I'll go to a safe area before I pull over. They'll let the cop know that they just scared the crap out of a young girl. And hopefully the cop won't be a jerk about it. Yeah. So, guys, don't hesitate. Your niece's nephew, you gotta give them a little squeeze. Do it, because the hurt that I've seen from friends. Yeah, you don't want that. So, but yeah, Stuart, it's a problem. It's a problem. I've never seen that hashtag before. You're gonna have to tell me what it is later on. But yeah, so oh no, I just figured it out. Never mind. Math. In any case, guys, pay attention. Be careful with your families. Watch those. That's a good point, Serene. Always leave a little bit of room between you. One of my companies put me through what was basically a tactical driving school. This was many years ago. and the whole 9 yards. I mean, going through the skid pad, and they'd remotely lock up tires, and you'd go skidding off the road, and it was just bizarre. And one of the things they always told us: leave room between yourself and the car in front of you. Don't leave too much, because then stupid people wedge themselves in, and you don't have any room. But about half a car length. It's not enough for an idiot to squeeze in. But if you get hit from behind, you don't then hit the poor guy in front of you. But B, if someone comes out and comes at you, it's enough room, even in a pickup, for you to cut that wheel and haul ass out of the way, or run them over, as the case may be. B, teach your kids street smarts. A lot of kids, they live in front of the Xbox now. I grew up on the streets of Queens. I promise you, I learned some stuff really quick by the age of 12, but guys, be careful on the road. I'm a big travel guy, hence the name Roaming Prepper. Watch yourselves on the road and instruct your kids. And I am working on a video. We just traded in my son's high school car, the old Mustang, which smelled like football player and shoe and FFA. It was terrible. But he still had his bug out bag in there, his get home bag, that I helped him build when he was in high school. So I'm going to do a video another day of, I'm going to disassemble the bag and see how close he was to what I instructed him to do. He's now, on his second overseas tour, so he has a whole new level of preparedness and tactical knowledge that he can then show his old man. But yeah, have your kids have a teenage get home bag in their car, just in case, so they have something, if nothing else, for their peace of mind and for yours, if they break down, if something happens and they have to bug out on foot and get home. But guys, it's about that time. I got dinner tonight, and so hopefully that ground beef has thawed so I can cook tacos. Taco Tuesday, baby. Until next time, guys, thank you for joining me. Godspeed to all of you who are traveling or planning to travel. And you guys, be safe, be careful. Northern Girl, don't hurt your back out there. You guys have been doing a lot of work. And Joe, I will look for that link after I eat dinner and see what you had. But guys, be safe on the road. Be careful. Don't feel bad about being hard on your kids a little bit. It's for their safety, because there are some bad hombres out there, no pun intended. And yeah, Papa Prepper is going to come on here in a few. So I'm going to get off, guys. Don't forget, thank you, Joe, for the reminder. Jump over to Papa. Joe, could you let Papa know I'm cooking dinner? So I'll catch up with him later on. You guys be safe and stay blessed. And I will catch you guys next week at the live. Be good.